Yes, it started. Okay, again, a warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for your time and joining this event. So, today's topic is about powering the processes with ODC workflows. We will have a live demo to get to know more about the topic, and we have our speaker Hatimeri with us to talk about the topic. And as you already know, I am Sri Lakshmi NS. I am working as an assistant manager in KPMG India. And if you wish to be a speaker in any of the future events, and if you want any information regarding the past events or this current event, you can reach out to me over LinkedIn, and this is my email. And at the end of the session, we will be having the quiz, and we will get three lucky winners, and they will be getting a gift voucher or the swacket based on the availability. So, with that, I'll hand over to you, Hatimeri. Yeah.
Thank you, Sri Lakshmi. Shall I share my screen?
Yes, and I'm stop sharing my screen.
Okay, just a minute.
Okay, so while the session is going on, I'm starting the Q&A section now, and please don't hesitate to put your question there, and do not put the questions in the chat because it will get lost with the other chats. So please utilize the Q&A section below. Let me know if you face any technical issues. Yes,
Okay, hope my screen is visible.
yes, it is.
Okay, yeah. Thanks, Sri Lakshmi. Thanks for inviting me to deliver this session. Thanks for this opportunity, and thanks for everyone who joined this session today. Thanks for your time. And yeah, today we are going to see about ODC workflows. Before that, my name is Hati Mary. I am currently working as an architect in Asia, and I'm having 7 years experience in OutSystem, and I'm an official OutSystem champion. Okay, so let's start the session. So first, so the agenda I will tell you. So the agenda is first I will talk about what is workflow, the deployment cycle and everything, how the workflow editor will look like. So the basic understanding of workflow you will get it. After that, we will see little bit about events because workflow will be triggered only by the ODC events. So what is ODC event? What is the use of it? Little bit I will cover that part, and then I will cover the I will show one use case and how we can build the business processes in ODC workflow. Okay, so this is the agenda. So let's start. First, workflow process. So we are going to see what is workflow, characteristics of workflow, and how the workflow editor will be look like, and end-to-end workflow process. How we can develop it, when to test, when to deploy. So everything we are going to see in detail. Okay, so what is workflow? We all know in ODC we are having two main assets, that is application and library. And application is loosely coupled and library, strongly coupled with the application, right? And it can be, we can reuse it, like for example, it's like strong dependency like server action, web blogs, but business agnostic, right? So those things we can put it in there and then we can reuse it. So workflow is similar to application. This is also loosely coupled and it will act as a separate asset. If you take O11, right? So whenever we create a BPT, so workflow it's more or less equal to whatever we are having in O11, the PPT, right? So it's similar to that. So the same, it's a build for the same purpose, to solve the business processes. So any business process you are having, which is involving the human approval and sending the mail, you want to automate it because it is repeatedly happening. So whenever for example, whenever any employee created, I want to send a mail for submitting the background verification document, and I want the HR will verify that, and then the laptop will be issued. So this process will be repeatedly happening, right? So every time it's happening. So how to automate that? So for that only in O11 we are having a BPT. So in ODC we are having workflows. But if you see world event, so we will create inside the application only, right? So whenever we want to make any changes in the business process, then we have to deploy the application also. But here it's not like that. It will act as a separate asset altogether. So so you can what to say, like you can separately deploy that. It will act, it will be coming into the separate container altogether. So it's a loosely coupled with the application, mainly the application. We can't do anything with the library because it's loosely coupled, right? So we can consume only the weak dependency elements like service action, screens, and things like that. Okay, and as I said, it's having independent life cycle, and each revision will have its own runtime. And because of this nature, right? So it's working, it's deployed in a separate container. It can scale independently. We all know we are having auto scalability feature, right? So every asset based on the traffic and resource utilized, it can be auto scale, right? The computation resources. So because of this isolated nature, right? So we can increase the it can we can do the scalability very easily. It can happen automatically, but it is only for the workflow we can allocate some computation resources, so we can scale independently. And it is, as I said, right, it is used to implement repeatable business processes. So this is the workflow. Okay, so yeah, as I said, ODC workflows are established as a distinct asset type. Like the apps and library, it is maintaining their independent life cycle. And so this is the a relationship diagram between the workflow application, how the workflow and application can communicate, right? So if you see here, workflow can consume events from application. Okay, and whenever any event application, then workflow will be triggered. And workflow can get data, like it can utilize other elements like screen, uh, role, and server action, service action. So these are the things workflow can utilize inside the flow. So workflow can be only events, and inside that you can only use service action, screen, and role. Only weak references are allowed in the workflows and application. So yeah, this is how the workflow editor will look. So if you go to the ODC portal, even a trial version is available. You can check that. So under the application, if you click on the workflow, you can see the list of workflow, and if you can create a workflow, whenever you click on open in editor, it will flow diagram kind of interface where you can just add a human activity or automatic activity or wait, conditional start, anything like whatever we are having PPT, right? Same thing is available here as well. You can just use that and create your business processes. Okay, and as I said before that in workflow, so these are the things we can use it. Uh, Events, service action, and so start, as I said, right? So event can be, the workflows can be start only by the event. So if you see start node, right, you can select the application. It's a separate asset, right? So you can select any application. Okay, so imagine if in your factory you are having 5 application and you want to do this business process on one of the application, so you can select that application. It will list on what are the events available in the application. You can select that. So whenever that event is triggered by that application, then the workflow will be initiated. Okay, so it can be only initiated by the events. Okay, and then we are having service action. So whenever you want to fetch something or whenever you want to do some operation, you can just wrap it under the service action. And here also same, you can select the application and then you can call the service action. So here you can select one application, maybe the application A, maybe for example, right? So whenever, imagine this use case, right? So whenever any employee got created, I want to immediately create a account in finance table. Okay, so this is my business flow. So employee is in a HR table, imagine like that, and finance, it's a separate table that is in a different application, finance application. So what you can do is, you here you can select HR, application name is HR. The event name is create employee, and then here action to trigger you can say, for example, finance, right? Finance, and then create account. So whenever any employee got created, you have to trigger the event. So in the CRUD of that create wrapper, right? Create update. You have to put the you have to call this event and pass that ID, so that in the finance application we can fetch the information of that particular employee. Yeah, with the event you can pass some data also. It's not only triggering the event, you can pass the information via payload also, via input. Okay, so yeah, and then here you can create a account in finance department. So here you can call one service action. Inside the service action you can keep create finance action. Okay, so with the help of the ID whichever is coming from here, you can access it here. So with the help of that you can fetch the data of the particular employee, and you can create a one record in the finance table, right? Like account, finance account creation. So this is one example. So event can be triggered only by the workflow can be triggered only by the event, and you can use a service action to execute any business logic. And if you want to put some human activity, right, like for example any approval process or something, that is also possible in workflow having human activity. You can put here, see, right? So assign to, so this particular activity, who is the owner, you can assign it here. And for example, the same example we can take. So whenever any finance account created, right, the finance manager has to approve it. Okay, so you can do here. Okay, the you can anyway you are fetching the employee information. That time you can identify who is the finance manager. You can put that user ID here, and then you can redirect them into the destination screen where they can approve the particular user finance account, right? So like that you can do it. Okay, and then ODC, yeah, as I said, right, it's having like human activity, automatic activities, decision, wait, conditional start. Yeah, here it is, right? So start, go to previous step, end, human activity, automatic activity, decision, parallel, wait, conditional start. So all these elements are available in the workflow. So you can use that. Okay, so now what is the benefit of using a workflow? Similar to BPT, right? So whenever we use BPT, so same advantage we can get. So it can optimize the processes. You can optimize the process by creating a neat flow. So you can reduce the error. You can enhance the visibility for the better management, and it is we are going to follow the standardized procedure, so quality will be ensured. And then you can generate the data, because workflow is having a detailed logging system, so you can easily see the data and do the decision. For example, maybe the finance manager is not available, you can switch that activity to some other user, and you can automate the task, save time and cost, right? Because this kind of business pro anyway it's repeatedly happening. So if you automate that, you can avoid the manual efforts, and because of that you can save the time and cost, and you can easily identify and mitigate the risk. So these are the benefits of using the workflows. Okay, and common use cases of workflows similar to BPT. So in BPT, mostly in the out system documentation, also we are using expenses approval, right? So for expenses approval, we can use loan approval. Maybe the customer is uploading the document for loan, for getting the loan. So the manager will see it and check whether all the criteria is matched, then they will approve the loan. So that kind of process you can automate. Invoice approval, travel reimbursement, vacation approval, complaint management. So these are the things you can automate using the workflows. Okay, so this is the end to end of workflow process. Okay, so here, um, you know so this is the development phase, this is the delivery phase. So first you have to create the application, because you want all the events, and you want all the screen action and the service action, and the screen should be ready. Then only you can you can use it inside the workflow, right? So you have to create the application, you have to create all those events, and you have to trigger in a proper place, you have to keep the service action ready and screens ready. So that is the first step. So okay, the application is ready now. Then with the help of that, okay, so in studio you will application, then you will go to the OTC portal, and there you will create the workflow by using the elements from application. So we will consume those elements from the application, and we will create a workflow in the workflow editor. Okay, so now the workflow is ready. So we can publish the workflow. Okay, and then you can test the workflow. So whether anything is everything is working fine, you can test the workflow. And then once you've done your unit testing, you can move the code. You have to deploy the app as well as the workflow, right? We first time we need the code, right? Because the workflow is built on top of the application, because it's consuming some element from the application. So you have to deploy both the things. Once it is deployed, right? So you can test everything in QA once. You can do a smoke test, and then once everything is settled, you can deploy the app in the prod. And maybe if you see some changes in the workflow, no need to deploy the application again. You can change it in the dev, and you can just deploy that particular workflow in QA. No need to deploy the application if there is no change in the application, right? Only flow you want to change, you can definitely do it without disturbing the application. So this is the end-to-end workflow processes. Okay, so and also the important thing, right? So because it is using the event, right? So we can use the benefit of event driven architecture. So what is event driven architecture? What is events? ODC events? I told we all know in O11 events means in weblogs we are having events. It is used to communicate screens where it is placed, right? So what is event here? Okay, so if you see ODC, right? So in O11 we can communicate with the application very easily, but in ODC, if you see, everything is loosely coupled, right? And everything in a separate container. Okay. And imagine I want to create one record. Whenever one record got created, I want to create a record in one more application, not only one application. I want to tell somebody, okay, so that person, will have all the people name who is interested in the information. For example, application A created some record. Okay, maybe some 4 5 application, right? So they want to do some operation based upon that record, right? So it's possible with the event driven architecture. So what it will do is that application, right, it will expose that event. It's like a live PPT. Events, I would say it's similar to what we are having in O11, right? Live PPT. So we can create a live BPT, and whenever any record got created, it will be triggered, right? Similar to that, whenever any application record got created, you can put that you can consume that even in some other consumer. For example, application A is the producer, there only we are having the event. Okay, and application B, C, and D are interested about that one. Okay, so in application B and C, D, you can consume that event. Okay, and you can create a handler, how we are creating in the weblog, right? So whenever we place the weblog in a screen, we have to create a handler for that. So whenever the event is triggered, the handler will be executed. So here same way. So whenever the event is triggered from the producer, okay, all the consumer, right, whoever is consuming that particular event, and that handler they are having in the handler, it will be executed, and it will be executed asynchronously. So that is the main advantage we are getting from the event. One simple example, I will not go in detail with the events because we are talking more about the workflow. Little bit I will cover about the events. How we can use the events. So how maybe I will give one example. Okay, so maybe directly I will go example. Imagine you are purchasing a ticket for a concert. Okay, so if you are not using any asynchronous process here, you are doing any everything synchronously, then what will happen? So whenever the ticket is created, then the seat will be reserved and the courier company will be notified for the physical ticket because they have to send the ticket to the particular, like, to me, right? Because I only book the ticket, and then the order details are mailed to the user at extra point. So because I booked the ticket, maybe in my account some extra points will be added, right? So all these things, it will be executed, imagine, executed synchronously, right? So if some courier company is not responding, then these things will be delayed, right? So, and it's what to say, like every, it's a sequence manner, so it's dependent on each activity execution, right? So here we will not the we will not get the benefit, right? So because everything is going in a sequencer, if any error occurred, then it will be terminated. But what if, right, if you are having decouple service, event driven update, so what will happen? So imagine asynchronously build. Okay, imagine like this. Okay, so what we are doing is the event driven architecture, right? We will have in between one person, like a broker, message router. Okay, so what we will do is whenever the event got created, we will just inform the router. Okay, and whoever interested in that particular information, right, they will subscribe to that event. Okay, means the consuming the event. Here we are saying, right, in ODC we will so they will subscribe to it. So instead of going and checking the information from the producer, the router will have the information. You can pass that information via that event and pass it to the router. That information it will give it to the subscribers. Okay, for example, imagine now it's happening asynchronously. So company, so we are having four things. Okay, four action here, right? So when you reserve logic is executed, that is one flow happening separately, and for that you are having a server action, it will take care of everything. And you are having one more server action, courier company is notified for physical tickets, so that is happening separately. And a mail will be sent to me because I only booked the ticket, so that is happening separately. And loyalty system will increase some token points, right? So that is happening separately. Like this, right? So it is very flexible. Parallelly, we can achieve so many items, right? So this is the event-driven architecture. So this is what is happening in the when this is a producer application and these are the subscriber application. Okay, so whenever it will be passed to the message broker, and you can pass the payload also, basic data types it's supporting as of now. You can pass the information and that information can be consumed by here. Same way, right, like in weblog, whenever you trigger a event, if you create some input that is accessible in the screen, right, you can use it in the handler. Same thing is happening here. You can just pass that information and then it will be used by the subscriber. Okay, so in workflow, the event, it can be triggered only by the event, so that we can come different application. It's like it will act as the orchestration layer, right? So one application, if something happen, do this in the second application, do that in the third application. So that one we can achieve with the help of workflow and event. Okay, so the same the example I am going in detail. So this is how it will look like. So in ODC application, okay, it is only there in the application. You can create an event, okay, and similar to whatever we are having in a weblog, right? So you can define the event trigger whenever, right? For example, I am creating a employee. In that flow, you can just call that event, just drag and drop that one, and then Okay, so you can just put a handler. Even in the producer, you can put the handler, and the consumer also consume it, and they can define a handler for that. So they will subscribe the event and they will do some activity on upon it. Okay, so okay, so let's not. Okay, so maybe high level I will tell you. So everything will go in a event queue, and the subscriber will be subscribed to that event queue, and they will get the information. I will not go in detail. So let's come to the workflow. Okay, so now I'm going to take this simple example: expense approval. Okay, yeah. So expense approval. So here, this is my flow. This is my requirement. Whenever any employee submit the expense report, right? Expense report. Okay, they can fill it, they can save it, and then they can submit by selecting a manager. Okay, then it will be notified to the manager, then the manager can view that expense and they can approve or reject it. If they approve, it will be end, it will send some mail, it will end the flow. If they reject, okay, the employee will be informed about the rejection. So this is the flow, very simple flow. So employee is submitting something, and they are seeking the manager approval. Once the manager approve it, we can do whatever we want, like in the approval flow, maybe sending a mail or something. Whenever reject happen, the employee will be notified again. So it's a very simple flow, we are going to see that. Okay, so let me share my screen. I will show the studio also. Just a minute. Yeah. Okay, just a minute. I'm logging in. Okay. Hope my screen is visible. Not.
Noted.
Just a second. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Now.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Just a minute. Sorry for the disturbance. Just a second.
So meanwhile, I hope a Q&A section is open for you. So I saw a few people has raised the hand, so I would request them to put on the questions and Q&A so that they'll be addressed at the end of the session.
My screen, right? Okay.
Yes, it is.
Just a second. Okay. All right, so this is the application I have created. Okay, so I will tell the flow also high level and then I will show you the logic. Okay, so this is the flow. Hope it's visible, or I will increase a little bit. Okay, okay. So the user first they will create the expense, just to save it in draft mode. And then what I'm doing is doing right that save button, right? I will just to trigger this event, new expense report created. Okay, so with this only I am triggering the workflow. Okay, so whenever they submit that button, save button, the workflow will be triggered. And after that start, I'm having this particular human activity assigned to employee. Okay, so I am assigning to the same employee whoever just created that particular expense. Okay, and whenever they submit to the manager, right? So they put it in a draft mode. So now there's still the processes with the employee only. When they go to this particular form and they select the manager and click submit, okay, then I'm triggering one more event called submit report. So in the button, submit button, right? So submit report. So what I will do is it's a human activity, right? So human activity we have to close somewhere, correct? And it will have a destination screen and we have to close somewhere, right? So I will put here, so this is my human activity and the responsible person is the employee. Okay, and this is my screen, this is my destination screen. There I can just submit the submit the expense to the manager. And then on the summit I am calling the summit report. So this human activity should end when this particular event is triggered. So like that I will write my logic, because I can communicate only with the help of events and service action, right? So I will say here, when this particular event is triggered, this is over. Okay, this it is moving to the next step. Okay, because employee done everything, he created an expense, workflow trigger, it is with still with the employee. And then he went to the form, selected the manager and submitted. Now his role is over, right? So it's going to the manager now. So now the manager has to see it and approve or reject. Based upon that, the things will be triggered, correct? So in this human activity, okay, I am having everywhere I'm having expense report ID, right? I told you, right? So with the event, we can pass some basic data type as a payload, right? So here I am having expense report ID. So inside the service action, I will put an aggregate. I will fetch who is the manager for that particular user ID and the expense report ID. I will just figure it out, and then I will just assign to that particular manager. Okay, and that activity will be over. It should over, right? So what is the destination screen? This destination screen, this is the screen where I will have the reject or approve button for the manager. And this particular human activity I have to close, right? So whenever they approve or reject, I have to close it, right? So I am closing it. Maybe let's call it as first interaction. Maybe this name is not correct. First interaction. So then, based on the status, I am doing some activity. If it is approved, then I am sending approval mail with the help of human activity. So inside the human activity, I can call the service action, and inside that I can put a mail logic. And if it is rejected, I am calling this particular human activity and sending the rejection mail. So this is my flow. Okay. Now I will show a little bit in the code, and then I will show you the demo how it's working. Okay, so this is my application, and here I am having the expense report screen. So this is the screen. They can see. Maybe I will open the browser also, so that you can easily relate. Just a minute. I have two account for giving the demo. One is with this mail ID, so it will act as a employee account, and one more account. That account will act as a manager. Okay, so I will open two tabs. Let Okay, my screen is visible only, right? Hello.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. Right. So okay. So I will. Okay. I'm logged in as an employee now. I am creating a expense now button, right? So I'm clicking on new expense. Okay. So let's go to the screen and see where it is called. Okay. Expense report detail in the ODC Studio. Okay. So the pop-up we are having, and I told you, right? So this is the responsible. Maybe we will check. So inside this action, only inside this server action, I am calling, if it is a new identifier, I'm calling new expense report creator, or I'm using this action, right? Yeah. Yeah. So here, new expense on click. Here I'm calling that particular action. Okay. So whenever I create something here, you can see I will go to the ODC workflow also, and I will show you how it's happening. Workflow. Okay, so yeah, now I will trigger one event here. I will say merchant hatch download test hatch. Okay, I am submitting this one. Okay, if you see here, so one instant will be created with this particular ID. Okay, this is the one, I think. So you can see very visually, you can see, actually you can see here, right? So it is still with the employee, and it is waiting for the submit report to occur. Okay, and I will show you the logic also a little bit. So like this only, we can just open an editor. All right. Yeah. Yeah, you can see here, right? So the workflow is the new expense report is created. I am passing the expense report ID and the user ID. Whoever is submitting that expense report, I am passing here. Okay, and then here, right? So it is, I am it's the next activity. Okay, the work event, the process started. So now I am assigning to the particular employee. So that employee information is the same user ID, right? Here we are having. So this is the user ID. So assign to start dot new expense reported created dot user ID. Okay, and this is the destination screen report detail. And when I am closing it, whenever the submit report is happening, I am closing that particular event. And when the submit report is happening, let's check it. If you see, I will call this one whenever they select a manager and submit it. Okay, so if you see this server action it's called inside the block, submit on click, selecting the manager and submitting it. In the calling the report submitter, submit report event. So it will move to the next flow, right? Next to node. So let's see what is happening. So if you see here, it is still assigned to employee and it is waiting for the submit report to occur, right? So now I will go to the application and submit to the manager. Okay. Um, yeah, I'm having only one manager. Okay, I'm just submitting it. Okay, submitted successfully. So if you see here, it will take a little bit time, some 2 3 minutes. Let's wait. Yeah, it's happened immediately. You can see here, right? It is completed now. This particular human activity is completed because I have selected the manager and submitted the report. Now it is with the manager. Okay, this particular human activity is triggered. What is inside this human activity? Let's check in the code. Okay, so what I'm telling. So I want to fetch some information to understand the first approver, right? Like who is the manager. So I will pass the expense report ID while saving the record, right? I selected the manager. So that time I saved the manager, whatever coming in the drop down, right? That one I have saved as the first approver. So that information I am fetching via this service action. Let's see it here. Get first approval. So if you see here, right? So exponent we are passing. If you see here, we are having one column. That column only we are returning here. Just a second. Yeah. So first approver is get expense report dot first report approver. This one I'm saving when whatever value they are selecting in the drop down, right? I'm saving here. So that information I am returning from them, and then I am assigning to that particular person. Okay, so the human activity you can fetch the data. So it's having these are the elements, right? Like you can fetch the data, you can assign to particular person and or particular role, and then you can set the destination screen where the human interaction is going to happen. So the manager again he will interact, he will go to the screen. There only he will approve or reject, and that one so when he click on approve or reject, right, I am calling this particular event. Maybe the name is not correct, first interaction, or maybe because he can approve or reject, right? So this particular activity will be over on this particular event. So let's see. I will go to the manager account now. Okay. So now if you see here, okay, so whatever information I submitted from the other account is appearing here. Okay, I'm just opening it. Okay, I'm just approving it. For example, okay, expense approved successfully. So now if you go to the instance and refresh it, okay, it will take some time. Let's wait. Yeah, you can see here the decision of manager is approved. Okay, outcome is approved. So it is going to this particular flow. So decision is we are having, and we are just sending a approval mail and ending it. Okay, and if I reject it based on the status, the whatever condition I have set it in the decision branch, right, it will call this one and it will be executed the reject flow. So now again go to the uh, flow, understand about the decision, how the decision will look like in ODC. So you can see here, right? So this icon, the decision, same thing. Okay, and then you have to fetch the data, right? Like you have to analyze this data, so you can use this particular session fetch more data. So this service action is responsible to return the current status of the particular expense. So it is returning for this expense report, whether it's approved or reject, it will return. And then I am adding the condition like this here. So if it is approved, right, if it is approved, then go to this, right? If it is failed, condition failed, then it's called rejected, and then go to this. Like that I have added the condition. And we are having some more elements also. So when you click on this plus icon, right? Okay, in the workflow you can see all the available things. So we all know human activity, automatic activity, similar to what we are having in 11. So decision is to select which branch based on the condition we are setting, right? Which branch we are going to execute. Human activity, where in the business process human intervention is needed, so that time you can use the human activity. And parallel activity, you can execute some of the things parallelly. And wait activity, right? So if I, for example, I will select the wait activity, right? So if you want to programmatically stop some activity for some defined days, right? For example, whenever the employee submitted the document, let's wait for 2 days before sending the laptop. Imagine this rule, right? Then in that case you can go to here, you can set close after timeout, or you can close on particular event also. So maybe once the background verification document is completed, then you can, you know no need to wait, like that also you can set. Or you can put some defined time here. Okay, and then we are having conditional start also here. Okay, so these are the elements we are having with ODC workflows. Okay, so yeah, and one more thing I wanted to show. One second. And with actually in O11, we are having the entities, right? Some system entities. From there also we can get the information. So similarly, in ODC also we are having workflow entities. Okay, so these are the entities we are having. With this also you can get some information, and if you want to do some advanced operation in your logic, like what is the status I want to understand in the logic, based upon that I have to decide these things. You can definitely do it by using this system entity. Okay, and there are some APIs also available with ODC. With the help of that you can change the person. Okay, okay, yeah, built-in functions are also supported in ODC. And there are some 1 minute actions also available. One second, I will show you. Just a minute. Give me a minute, I will check it. Maybe, yeah, before that, yeah, that's it from my side about the workflow. You can ask the question, I will parallelly check about that link and share it shortly.
So, so far I have not seen any questions in the section. So,
Okay.
uh, now I'll leave the forum open. So, if you guys have any questions so far, what we discussed, you can raise your hand. And okay, I got one question in the Q&A from Sanjay. So how we start the workflow? Do you want to take that question, Hatimari?
Yeah, yeah. With the events, okay, so maybe I will share my screen again. Hope my screen is visible, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, so we can create an event in the ODC application, okay, and that one, for example, whenever any expense created, right, initiate the workflow. Like I want to trigger the workflow, right? So it should automatically happen, right? So if you see the usage here, right? So I am calling this one inside the create operation of expense. right? Create or update. And but here if you can check, I'm checking whether it's a new record, then I am triggering a event. Like in weblog, how we are doing, right? So calling the event. Same, then put it. So in for example, in O11 we can set, right? So whenever created or updated, trigger the event, right? Same way, but you have to call inside like this, like a weblog, how we are doing, right? So wherever you want, you can just to drag and drop, okay? And you can create a input variable here, and it will be passed to the workflow. So like this, you can trigger the workflow. It will be automatically, the process will be initiated automatically and go further. Yeah.
Thanks for that. And yes, the next question is from Pavan. Can we end the wait activity with multiple conditions together?
Can we end the wait activity with condition as well as time?
With multiple conditions together.
Yeah, 1 minute. Let me share screen. You can trigger a event. If you see here again, I'm sharing my screen. Hope my screen is visible, right? Okay. So if you see here, right? So the wait activity, it can be closed by event. So what you can do is here you can create one, action, and then you can check all the condition whatever you want to do and then trigger the event. For example, maybe the wait activity has to be end whenever the employee record got created and it is approved. So that's the condition, right? You can just to check it in one server action, and maybe in the create employee action, right? Create wrapper of employee there. You can add additional condition, and then you can trigger the event. So then it will be automatically taken care here.
I have a one confusion. Like you show me that event, like whenever you will trigger that event, the workflow will start. So how we define
Here
like
also.
which workflow will start on which event? Like where is that property to select on which event have to trigger this workflow?
Yeah. Okay. Again, hope my screen is visible, right? So if you go to the ODC workflow,
Yeah.
you can see here, right? So it's not like only one workflow will be triggered on particular event. Okay, so you can see here the start, right? So start only, you have to put a condition when. So
Okay.
maybe
Okay.
I
Okay.
will.
Got it. That I was
Uh,
asking.
correct. So you can select the application. So all the application will come, and the list of events will come here. Okay, you can select the event. So I am having 3 event in my application, right? So whenever any expense report created, I want this process to start. So you can suggest a
Okay. Got it.
any other
Okay, I
questions?
see one more question from Grijesh. So, can we debug ODC workflow like we can debug O11 workflow or BPT?
Okay. One of the constraint, but it's a there is you are having an instance here, right? You can see what is going on exactly, and you can see all the parameters and everything. Like this only, you can for now do it. We can't debug because it's a separate asset, and we are doing in the portal, right? Not in the studio. So with the help of instance only, we have to check us up now.
Okay. The next one from Praveen. Can we call the multiple application using parallel element in workflow?
Okay, so I have not used parallel activity, but let's check it together. Just a second. I think you are saying events, huh? Events.
Applications.
Okay, application. Super, super. Okay, I think we can do it. Yeah, maybe whatever logic you are going to call, right? So maybe it's in different application, right? So application A is having one particular thing. Maybe this is, imagine this is application A. From this, I can select this one. and the same time I want to execute some more activity in the application B. So in the path 2 I can define that. Yeah, it's possible. Okay, like this I can
Okay,
select this. Yeah.
that's great. Okay, so anyone have any more questions?
API I will share it. Yeah.
Okay, so if there are no questions, okay, at the end again, I got one more. Any rule engine functionality available to manage and configure the business rules?
As of now, rulings in the sense we can put the rules, right? If we know when we are having one component similar to that you were asking, if I'm not wrong, correct?
Could we? Chanti, you are there?
I mean, in case of workflow functionality, usually, we should be able to configure business rules. Yeah, I mean, any kind of such option. I mean, in the runtime, if you want to change some rules.
Okay, like a case management, you are saying that.
Correct, correct, yes.
Okay, so I think it's not available, but the thing is, workflow is a separate asset, right? So you can deploy the application, but anytime you can just to change the rules here. In the here means in the workflow editor, you can change the decision flow condition and all, and then you can publish it. But we are not having separate workflow engine like case management workflow. We are not having.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so the next question, without the workflow, will event execute? If yes, what are the benefits of the workflow?
Come again.
Without the workflow, will the event execute? If yes, what are the benefits of the workflow?
Okay, just I'm not understood the complete question. It's in a
Okay,
QA.
let's clear
Selection.
it out. So, yeah, it's in the QA. So, can we execute the event without the workflow? That's the first part of the question.
Yeah, we can execute the event without the workflow. So event it's not only for the workflow. It's not built only for the workflow. You can just create a event. You can consume it in the A or B application. You can do whatever you want. Yeah, you can do that.
Okay. So, that's an yes. So, next comes the follow up question on that. What are the benefits of the workflow?
Okay, so benefits we already discussed, right? So
Yeah.
like case management workflow. So if you any process, repetitive process, if you want to automate and it's having some human activity in between, like similar to BPT, what are the benefits you are seeing in the BPT? It's similar to that. You can have it here in the workflow. And here the advantage over BPT here is here it is not having independent life cycle, but here in workflow we are having independent life cycle. So it can be anytime you can change the things and you can deploy separate asset, and because it's a separate thing, right? Separate asset, separate it's in a separate container, it can scale automatically. So that is the advantage over BPT here.
Yes. And as Hatimari said, we already discussed the benefits. So, you can refer to the recording again if you need more information on that. Okay, so with that, I will finish the Q&A and let's move on to the next part. Before that, a very huge thanks to Hatimeri for delivering such a wonderful session. It was so informative, and I hope all the participants had made the most of it. So, thank you so much, Hatimeri.
Yeah, thank you, Sri Lakshmi.
Yes. So let's move on to the next part. Before we go to the next, I would request if you are comfortable, please come on the camera. I will take a quick snapshot and it is just to post on the social media.
I am not able to switch on the camera.
That's fine. Okay,
Okay,
so
thank
I'll take a quick snap. This is very great to see all the smiling faces. Okay, one more. Just a second. Yes. Thanks a lot. I'll take the screen over now. Okay, let me share my screen back. Yes. Okay, so in case if you have missed out any of the previous events and if you want to see it over again, we have the Bangalore OSUG YouTube channel. So you can scan the QR code and uh, get access to all the recordings of the previous events, and even the current session will also be uploaded in a day or two. Okay, so I'll give you a minute of time if in case if you want to scan the QR code. Also, I will be uh, putting the 1 second. Okay, I thought of giving you the link. 1 second. Okay, yes. Okay, in case if you need the link, it is in the chat.
Yes,
And
just a minute, Sri Lakshmi. So I have talked about the some actions are available with the help of that you can reassign the person and all right. So there are some four actions are available. I have just put it in the chat. You can have a look. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
thank you. Yes. And okay. Yes. So coming to the most important part for us being the organizers. So your feedback really matters for us. I request everyone to take at least 2 minutes of your time and uh, fill in the feedback survey and give your valuable feedback in order to improve and give a quality events going forward. And even this link will be in the chat for your reference. Okay, so I'll take a moment and I'll give a pause before we go for the quiz. I'll wait for you to complete the feedback, and once you are done submitting the feedback, please put done in the chat. So that's the confirmation that you have submitted the feedback. And then we will all be set to go for quiz. Yes, Rahul, you have a question.
No, no, by mistake it was.
Okay, Marcius. I'll wait for your confirmation over chat. Okay, I'll give one more minute before we begin the quiz. Okay, I see two duns in the chat. Three. Okay. Okay, so let's go for the quiz now. So I will share the quiz screen now. Okay, I shared the wrong screen. Okay, yes. So, okay, let me tell you the rules before we actually host. Okay, so I would request you to scan the QR code when it is displayed on the screen and give a proper name to identify the winner. This is the QR code, and I am putting the link in the chat. Okay, and you will be getting 10 seconds for each question to answer, and the winners will be announced in the same session at the end of the quiz, and the winner will be getting the gift voucher or the swag kits subject to availability. Okay, I see 21 joined, 22, and we have 35 participants. Okay, I'll give one more minute. Okay, so with 25, I'm going to start the quiz. All the best to you guys. Let me know if you're facing any issue while accessing the quiz. Okay, waiting in lobby. Yes, I haven't started the quiz yet. I'm going to start now. All the best. Yes. $25. All of you have given the right answer. That's the first time it is happening, and Siraj, Babita, Mukesh are the winners right now. Let's see. $22 of you have given the right answer. Let's see who is on the top. Okay, and on the top we have Siraj, Rahul, and Babita. Okay. That's great. 26 of you have given the right answer. That means only one have given the wrong answer. Let's see who is on the top after third question. Siraj, Mukesh, and Babita. Okay. 20 of you have given the right answer. It's not only the right answers. Come on, guys, be quick. So, whoever answers the first will also be joining the race. Now, Siraj, Babita, and Shailendra are on the top. 25 of you have given the right answer. Okay, and let's see who is on the top. Shailendra, Siraj, and Mukesh. That's good. 26 of you have given the right answer. Okay, after 6 questions, who is on the top? Shailendra, Siraj, and Rahul again. Okay. 'Okay, who is on the top after 7 questions? It's Shailendra, Siraj, and Navita. Navita has joined the race now. All the best for other folks. Be very quick. It's almost 50-50. Okay. So let's see who stays on the race. Shailendra, Navita, and Siraj. Okay. Only 7 has given the right answer. Let's see who is up for the race after ninth question. Shailendra, Mukesh, and Navita. Last question. Be very, very quick to save your spot. Only 11 of you have given the right answer. Let's see who are the winners. Shailendra on the third place, Navita on the second place, and Mukesh on the first place. Congratulations to all the winners and all the best for other participants. Do join the other session to be the winner again. And congratulations again. And I would request all the winners to stay on the call. I would need some information from you and rest. Thank you all again for taking out your time and be a part of this session and made a successful one. Thanks a lot. We'll see you again in the next event. Thank you. Thank you.